around, I think, 2011, I think the world was undergoing some changes because new leaders were in. Barack Obama was nominated in the United States. There was a group that are really led by some technology-related and advocacy-related governance, mostly from the civil society. So the State Department wanted to convene a group of reformers globally to see if they can introduce a concept in governance that is anchored on openness, transparency, and inclusion. And so they convened the groups, and then they invited the then Secretary Butch Abad. And at that time, Sec Butch was already the Secretary of DBM. And then, so we used the vehicle, the DBM, as the vehicle to now bring in the country into that, initially just a conversation. It was really just an experiment to see if there is an alternative way to bring in the civil society in the governance process. And then at that time, there was a general sense that we needed to create a new society that is both more open and participatory. And also because part of it is because they realized that we wanted to bring in the civil society in the way we allocate resources. So that was the anchor. Because at that point, that was already a joint movement between a group of global civil society members and government. Part of the criteria in my mind were to select reformist leaders that have strong ties and understand the civil society. The criteria were forward-looking, open societies, of course, democratic societies, and then a very strong movement, or at least a what's the word? That there is a path towards inclusion and including civil society.
To operationalize the mission of the partnership, the PH-OGP established its first multi-stakeholder forum or steering committee in 2013. The membership was patterned after the OGP International Steering Committee, where both government and non-government sectors are represented. Through the able leadership of the Department of Budget and Management as chair of the then Good Governance and Anti-Corruption Cluster, the DBM was also appointed as chair of the steering committee. The other members of the Government Steering Committee are the Department of Social Welfare and Development as chair of the Human Development and Poverty Reduction Cluster, the Department of the Interior and Local Government as oversight agency for local governments, and the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines to represent the local government units. Further, the non-government sector is represented by Integrity Initiative and National Competitiveness Council from the business group, Budget Advocacy Group Right to Know Right Now Coalition, and Task Force Participatory Local Governance from the civil society organizations, and the Asian Development Bank from the development partner. Back then, the PH-OGP Steering Committee was chaired solely by the government, who was responsible for convening the meetings and organizing a secretariat. A 2-year term for the CSO and business group representatives was set, and they can only serve a maximum of 2 consecutive terms.
We have been involved with the OGP since the first National Action Plan. But in the last year, we were able to reach out to more CSOs across the region. The story of OGP continues with constructive engagement and public service delivery as one of its core platforms. We thank all of those in government and civil society who have participated and committed to this process.
The Open Government Partnership provided a mechanism, an avenue by which we can engage further in the process of using open government data for promoting participation in local governance.
Through genuine partnership and collaboration with various sectors, the Philippines has implemented game-changing programs that further strengthen our position in the open government arena. The Philippines initiated groundbreaking reforms on transparency, accountability, and citizen engagement during the implementation of the previous action plans. Several open government initiatives such as grassroots participatory budgeting, citizen participatory audit, Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, Seal of Good Local Governance, and Ease of Doing Business have received international recognition. In 2019, the Philippines scored exemplary in the Open Budget Index, taking the top spot in Southeast Asia as the most fiscally transparent country in the region and placing 10th out of 117 countries in the Open Budget Survey.
But primarily, this representation means that there is an enrichment. Yeah, let me repeat that, enrichment of the quality of the discussions. A seat in the steering committee offers the opportunity to serve, to add to the ferment of ideas, to advance the OGP principles, well, in ambitious but still practical terms. You know, like your head in the clouds, but your feet still on the ground. And that's the mindset of the businessman. You know, I learned a lot from being with the OGP community, and I still am active in the community. But the business sector can certainly learn, as I have learned, from the OGP community's methods of consulting. Always consulting with constituents. And the method of co-creation, the co-creation process of developing programs. These are, to me, particularly unique OGP elements of governance and can be advantageously be applied and used by the business sector. So, you know, that seat, therefore, in the steering committee is the conduit for mutual enrichment of ideas and plans to spread the gospel of OGP.
Through the efforts of the PH-OGP, the Philippines is ranked first in Asia for budget transparency. And this was based on the results of the 2017 Open Budget Survey, where the Philippines received an Open Budget Index of 67. Now, this cemented our position as a global leader in open government. Now, because of this, the DBM was also awarded the sole Freedom of Information Champion Department for its commitment in ensuring transparency in public service. Now, for me, this sends a clear message that the administration governs with openness and accountability in mind. Now, to sustain these gains, it is important to constantly keep open government partnership a priority program, may it be through the National Action Plan or through other initiatives. Now, on the 10th year of the OGP in the Philippines, I congratulate and encourage the PH-OGP to work tirelessly, double its efforts towards a truly open culture of governance.
I think because this is already the 5th National Action Plan, and we've been through 4 already, National Action Plan, and we've seen that a commitment can best exemplify open governance partnership if there's really mutual understanding and committed partnership between non-government sectors as well as government. You will see that a lot of the agencies have responded to suggestions that were made during the consultations, as well as online, as well as in informal meetings with the line agencies. Maraming mga pagbabago na nangyari. So I think it has really been an improved process of co-creating the National Action Plan.
10 years after the formation of the Open Government Partnership, the Philippines remains firmly committed to promote and uphold the OGP values of promoting transparency, empowering citizens, fighting corruption, and harnessing new technologies to strengthen governance. With the continued leadership and commitment of the PH-OGP Steering Committee, the partnership has grown to become a multi-sectoral body which equally represents the government and non-government sectors. The members have become the champions for promoting the OGP values in order to strengthen governance towards achieving better public service delivery. To further strengthen the collaboration between and among the sectors, the Non-Government Secretariat was established in 2016 to work closely with the Government Secretariat in helping provide assistance and support services to the whole steering committee.
I am deeply honored and proud for the Philippines to be one of the founding members of the Open Government Partnership since 2011. 10 years have passed and we remain strongly committed in providing a space for constructive engagement between and among government and non-government organizations. In this time of the pandemic, the PH-OGP Steering Committee continues to lead and support the mission of the partnership that aims to craft and deliver co-created country commitments which are geared towards addressing OGP grand challenges on improving public services, increasing public integrity, more effectively managing public resources, creating safer communities, and increasing corporate accountability with our non-government stakeholders. Together with the members of the Steering Committee, we thank you all for supporting us in making our government work for the people. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayong lahat.